And God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear." And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds." And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plant-bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seeds in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good, and there was evening and there was morning the third day. With the beginning of the third day, the waters are still being worked on. However, this time the focus is on the waters below the heavens, below the Rakia. On the second day, God separated the chaos waters into the waters above and the waters below. Now the waters below are to be gathered so that the dry land appears. Notice the language used in verse 9. And let the dry land appear. The dry land already exists, but it is covered by the primordial waters that prohibited a creation that was with order and inhabitants. The land must appear for God to fulfill his creative plan for providing order. The biblical authors would have seen this as a problem since the land is their home. They and land creatures have nowhere to live without the land being established. The waters are gathered together, and therefore boundaries have been set between that which is land and that which is water. This is the foundation of the Eretz that was discussed in verse 1. Day 3 consists of the act of providing another set of boundaries, with the gathered waters being called Yamim, or seed. The seas are not independent forces to be feared and worshipped, but creations that respond to the direct commands of God. He exerted authority as he named the dry ground land and the waters seas, assigning them their place and function. Non-existence for the Egyptians was not wiped out in the acts of creation, but was pushed to the outer limits of the cosmos. Existence and non-existence are balanced in the cosmos. With the separation of the sea and the land, there is order in the two boundaries that will see be filled in later days. With the land established and usable, God now begins a second act on the third day. God calls forth for vegetation and seed-bearing plants of two main types. There are the plants that yield their own seed and those that have fruit that contain seeds. Vegetation provides food and resources for survival. The plants also require land to grow out of and water to nurture it. God establishes the function of the land producing food and plant life. What is amazing is that as a day itself, it completes the work of day 2 by tying together the acts of days 2 and 3 for a fully functioning cosmos. It finishes out the development of a habitable place. The issue of the tohu has been dealt with. The earth is no longer without form and function. The earth is no longer in a state of chaos or lack of order that prevents the land to be filled and habitable for the future of living creatures. However, the creation story does not end here. There is still another matter that needs to be dealt with. Everything that inhabits between the sky and the land. Now God turns his focus to the bohu.